gentlemen.
Uh-oh.
It's time for the Early Bird Special. Bringing you the best stories from the world of sports and sports entertainment. Now, here are your hosts, Sparky and Burdick.
Welcome back. This is the Early Bird Special right here on ESPN Bakersfield, 101.1 FM, 1230 AM. We're working on getting our guy KG in here. He's dealing with a little bit of a video issue, but he should be joining us very shortly to talk all things wrestling, because we got to talk about this coup of the century yesterday that was ruined for us, technically. Thanks, Austin. I swear to God. I still had to watch it, though. I mean, you have to see these things happen for yourself. And I'm not going to lie to you. While watching the promo in the very beginning of the show, and Seth pretty much giving himself all the credit in the world for everything going on.
Well, when he was doing that, I love you.
Yeah, I love you, but I don't need any of you.
But
I don't
did
need
this
anybody
all without
here.
you.
I'm like, good God, Seth.
Setting it up.
Wow. But my guy does not deserve this kind of treatment. The dog is here. What are you doing? And honestly, the minute I saw that change of like facial, Bron just kind of coming to terms with all of it, I knew from that moment, I was like, okay, that's what's going to happen. They're going to make a decision for themselves. And just like we saw a couple weeks ago, he's going to call the play. And it's really up to Bronson if he's going to join him. And
Same
that's exactly
with Paul.
what happened.
He was like, you're either with me or you're not.
Or you're not. And find out which side you're on now, because if you don't, we're going to find out
you might get
for
speared
you.
real quick.
I'm just saying. And that was arguably one of the best ways they could have done it. Because, again, I think a listener texted in yesterday and had a very good point. This is just further example that we don't necessarily need every storyline in wrestling to go 2-3 years and push. You know what I mean? We are okay with wrestling just being, well, wrestling. And sometimes it's okay to blow up a faction early, because let's see what comes out of this. I mean, I think a lot of people are expecting, obviously, we're going to see Bron probably be the new leader of this, and Bronson's going to continue to thrive just like he has been. But I was thinking about this last night, Spark, and I'm kind of curious what you think about this. And once KG gets in here, I'd love to have his thoughts as well. We could potentially be seeing the start of a faction we've never seen before in terms of both major championships could be around these guys' waists at the same time. I don't think a lot of people ever really consider that, because I don't think we've ever had a moment where a faction held both main championships. But we could see Bron Breakker with the World Heavyweight Championship and Bronson Reed going to SmackDown for a brief moment and winning the WWE Championship at the same time. And I mean, I know Triple H loves to drip these factions in gold, especially the ones that he favors. We've seen it with the Judgment Day a million times. But at this point right now, this could be a very, very interesting move forward for the company. Because at least to my knowledge, please text in and let me know if I'm being dumb here or if I'm just forgetting, but I don't think we've ever had a wrestling faction own both major men's championships at the same time. And we could potentially see that for the first time ever with this group. Because that's how serious they are. That's how big they are. And they've been building Bronson Reed to be that guy for the last couple months. Bron Breakker was already kind of on the way there just for being a Steiner in general. So, I mean, the thought of them coming in and just running roughshod through all of this is incredible. And I would not be surprised if that is what ends up happening here in the storyline for Triple H. What were your thoughts on everything?
I know we got a text asking the same question, but it was more, where does Brock fit?
I think Brock could potentially be that guy that if they need a third one, especially for War Games. But I don't see Brock joining a faction.
No, and I don't see how him and
Breakker
Breakker fit together.
Because, I mean, the minute you bring Brock in, he's now the alpha, which means Braun goes right back to being the side guy.
Me personally, I think the way they're portraying Braun, that he could very well just chase Heyman out, and Heyman just goes back to Brock. And they just kind of do their own thing. But
I think Brock, that's a beautiful point. I think Brock could be Heyman's way out.
Yeah.
If he wants a way out. But at the end of the day, I don't think he joins the faction. I
No.
just don't see that being the case for Brock Lesnar. But there are now rumors that we could potentially see a reuniting of the Shield with Seth and Roman, just in case, they need to help each other out with all of this. And now there's a possibility of Seth being the fifth guy on the opposite side of this War Games match that we think was building underneath all of it. We'll see what happens. I'm very curious, but they're calling this the coup of the century in WWE, as they normally do, just to pump it up.
I went home and I was watching my Mariners, and I was like, okay, I'm going to have to make some time. And I didn't get home till about 6:30, and I turned it on immediately and had the Dodger game on the side. But even when the credits were coming up, I'm like, where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it going to happen? And then sure enough, Braun turns around and spears him. I know what I've read, saying that it was supposed to happen next year, but the injury to Seth was serious, that he was going to have to take some time, and then they just kind of, and it's the same thing we brought up yesterday when a listener had said, this had happened. I think, just like we've said, writers have the ability to change up as quick as they need to.
Absolutely.
And I think it was perfect because a lot of us old school wrestling fans were getting dull of the story writing. And I think not only was SmackDown what we saw with the girls and
the
with
MFTs and all that.
If MFT coming out and finally we see a good Wyatt Six story.
Yep.
And then going back into Raw, now it's kind of up in the air. And what I liked about it was we've been waiting because we knew Braun was going to change sooner or later, and you could read it all over his face. As soon as Seth kept talking and talking, you could see he was about to snap in the beginning.
Oh, 100%. And it was interesting to me because that is the little things in wrestling that I feel like we all have to pay attention to a little bit, is how well these guys' facial expressions really play into what's happening next. Not a lot of people really take that into account, but it really is a defining factor on how these matches go and how these storylines progress. The other thing that I was thinking last night as well after the spear, what if we're seeing another run of Seth playing us? Let's not forget, not too long ago, Seth faked an injury in order to continue a storyline that no one really thought was going. Who's to say that Seth didn't plan this as well to get people thinking maybe he's not the leader anymore, and then de facto here comes War Games, and he ends up sabotaging the other team for his other group. Exactly. If he has to work with Punk and Roman, he sabotages their chances of winning, thus allowing his vision to continue and thriving. There's always these possibilities. Our guy KG has joined us. Sir, how are you? First and foremost, congratulations on your big award win. I cannot express how much we both enjoy hearing about that, and obviously another well-deserved win for you in the DJ category, my friend. Uh-oh. We got no audio, my guy. We got no... Oh, now we got oh, no, that's not you. That was Dawson in the back. That's Dawson in the back. Look at your settings, my guy. I'm not sure if your audio is coming through or not. If not, we'll figure this out.
But the other question I had, just bouncing off Raw while KG works out his stuff, the Usos.
Yes.
All right.
There he is. Now we're alive.
Yeah, baby.
All right.
Hey, thank you. Thank you once again. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
And also, for those of you who didn't see on our social media, it was KG's birthday over the weekend.
I mean, the odds of winning an award on your birthday are astronomical nonetheless. Hey, lottery, God, you hear me? Come on, we're going to work this out. All right.
Absolutely. That's what I keep saying, dude. We got another lottery winner here in Bakersfield. I was like, are you kidding me? And I'm not playing the lottery.
It's right around the corner, folks.
It really
You'd be
is.
surprised what your luck could be in the realm of possibility in the CA lottery. I sound like a commercial, but nonetheless, it was a lot that happened over the weekend besides my birthday, besides Brunch Fest, which we had a great time at. Besides winning all these cool trophies and awards and all that. I mean, look at that,
Flashy,
folks,
a little bit,
right
flashy.
You know,
real quick,
hardware. But wrestling.
Since
it's crazy.
You weren't with us in the beginning, we got started with this whole coup of the century thing. Thoughts on that real quick?
I was in the room. I was listening. I was working out the technical difficulties on this side, guys. But let me tell you, when I thought the AI had fried my brain after what I had seen Monday at the end of Monday Night Raw, I kind of had to put together some theories. You know, we could say it's the coup of this and the coup of that. We've seen so many lately. We're just cuckooed out when it comes to storylines. But is this in relation to, like you mentioned earlier, if it's a real injury, can we believe it this time? The guy hobbled around for 3 weeks and involved his daughter and wife and really bled the lines. Is it real? Is it not? So, hey, either way, but if it is, we wish him a speedy recovery, but Seth Rollins is kind of prone to a major injury every 2 years, it seems like. And if this is the case, then I see where they would rush along a storyline. Or just advance it a little bit, because like earlier that Sparky and you guys mentioned, not every storyline has to go 4 or 5 years. It's okay to see some things expire in 6 months or less. TV and television, a fast-paced business these days, especially with how quick people forget things. Goldfish memory, microwave mentality. So things can come and go sometimes, consequence-free, without a regret of viewership that somebody is saying, this never, panned out or was never wrapped up. Now, as one of our listeners, I believe, said, where does Brock fit into all of this? I think that's the greatest tease of them all right there. You've got Paul Heyman that literally chose up. Like, okay, well, it's not like I didn't see this coming, but this seemed like more so with Paul Heyman and the things that he's been known to align himself with are pretty much not to say under, but aligned with his control. If you take it all the way back to ECW and the Dangerous Alliance, and, even recently with the Bloodline, his advocacy with Brock Lesnar or CM Punk, he always has an instrumental advice to give his clients. And when it seemed like Seth really was on his Seth, tip, hey, it's me, all about me. I can see where he's like, okay, well, you know what? I'm not going to be just in a group with Seth Rollins. Usually I advise a group for Seth Rollins. And that's where the dynamic changes. That's where Bron, as you see in the beginning of Raw, when he made those statements, was kind of taken back. Like, really, you don't need us. Okay. Then by the end, it was, well, it's really, we didn't choose you. We're looking for the opportunity. Right. The opportunity of being the greatest opportunist in this. And quite possibly, yes. I like the theory of maybe they just take in all the titles.
That's the only thing I could think of as the plan, is that you've been building both of these guys for so long that at this point you might as well just have both of them go after the main titles and see if you could have, because again, am I wrong? Would this be the first ever WWE faction that has both of them at the same time?
I honestly, if you think about the two-man power trip, it wasn't those world titles, but it was an IC and a world title and tag titles that they had with Stone Cold and Triple H, quite possibly. But nonetheless, I didn't see this coming. So my thought was maybe they go after the tag title, since they've been sitting just collecting dust with the Judgment Day on Raw, and we really fold in the whole faction of gold that they have with the Vision. Apparently, those shakeups that we heard about reported for WWE a few weeks ago are happening. So as we're seeing this in storylines, and note that the staff that works with Road Dogg, Jesse James, almost everyone has been let go except him. So as they're bringing in a new staff or moving people around, giving them the good old SmackDown shuffle in the writer's room, we'll see what's going to happen on the blue brand, because right now the red brand is kind of cooking. It's cooking up into the fall season, and we're seeing it this winter. So
speaking of the red brand, and I don't believe this is real, but I did see a rumor that I had to ask if you knew anything about. But is there any validity to this whole Raw 2-day spectacular thing going forward? Because what I hear is that they want, the rumor is that WWE wants to extend it to a Monday and Tuesday night thing. I don't see that happening just because of NXT being on Tuesdays.
Yeah, the thing is with that, if it's a certain type of special, maybe a Christmas Eve special, something like that, because usually they can do the year's best. Maybe on New Year's, sometimes they do that, where they run down the best matches of the year. They'll have a commentary team, either live or pre-recorded, some matches from main event that they have chopped up in there and whatnot. But I can't see them extending that because of the stretch that it puts on the major PLEs. You're almost devaluing a 2-night PLE by having a 2-night Monday Night Raw, and then it's not even Monday anymore. Mm-hmm. But it could work for a holiday special if they're reviewing Raw a day that is not on Monday.
Just like they would do with the Saturday night main event.
Events.
Maybe they'd bring back a random Sunday night heat type thing.
Because they do Raw day one every couple years, which is essentially them saying, hey, this is the start of the new season. Like, this is day one of the season for you. So maybe that's it. I don't know. I just saw a rumor of it, and I couldn't get my head around them actually making Raw a 2-day event.
Well, like I was saying before, I mean, I'm happy with what I saw at SmackDown this last week. It was the first time I've seen an entertaining SmackDown, and as a Wyatt Six fan, I was like, finally,
I agree.
They put a story together for the Wyatt Six that wasn't with every tag team in the team
in the division. Yeah.
So I was like, cool. Let's see what. Plus with MFT coming out with the head shrinker paint, and I was like, hell yeah.
I
could dig that.
I think what really sparked people's reaction was seeing the return of Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, all together. All three of those guys haven't been together since New Japan on film. Now, for them to be included in this Bloodline storyline and don the Gorillas of Destiny, if you guys are real fans of the international wrestling scene, you'll understand what I'm talking about there, especially with the Tongan and Samoan heritage of the Gorilla of Destiny war paint was a very intimidating faction that they had post Bullet Club in that era.
Well, Tama was using the face paint during his time with the Bullet Club.
Yes.
But he was the only one that was doing that.
Yes, and it became a real staple in their whole presence of intensity. I mean, really, it was a great transitional storyline, like just moving kind of issue with these guys are turning up right now. These guys, they're not being nice. They're not tweeners. They're being straight heels. They're devastating every locker room that they're in. Kind of that Legion of Doom energy that was brought in the 80s. Some guys still carry it over with the intensity factor that we're seeing now. Now to put them right across the ring from the Wyatts, chef's kiss right there in the story room. I mean, great TV right there. They didn't even have to interact. They just had to stand there. And that's what draws interest. And SmackDown needs a little bit more of that because lately they've been floundering with certain matches. And not to say everything needs a storyline, as we've said earlier today. But sometimes, and I know people are harsher on one brand than the other. Hey, when AEW does it and just throws it together, we criticize the hell out of it. But for a reason. There's always a reason. It's not just because we're just WWE loyalists. No. This is the entirety of wrestling. Sometimes you can just throw some things together that make a little bit of sense for them to make more down the road naturally. And it just plays out good on TV.
Well, going back to criticism, I mean, we didn't get to talk to you since Crown Jewel, and we were all kind of poo-pooing, okay, this kind of be a sleepover type event. Plus, it started at 5 a.m., and we had a full day of crap to go on. But what was your overall thoughts of Crown Jewels?
I think, honestly, I would give it a 7.7 out of 10.
That's a fair number.
It wasn't bad.
Higher C than the first one, though.
Yeah, it was definitely way better than the first ESPN PLE. I will hands down say that. Thank you, guys, for listening out there in the interwebs, in the ESPN world. And honestly, you can't really knock how important the match between Cena and Styles was with the homage of their own finish. Well, everybody else's finishers that they have fought along their career. The exciting part about it was seeing these moves pulled off by these guys. It was almost like, as the commentary team said, video game spam.
Yeah, but
it was hilarious.
Not to cut you off real quick.
Very decent.
Do you think that this is just a little sidebar as well of John kind of taking a shot at his critics, saying that he can't wrestle, doing everybody else's moves? Because I kind of caught that a little bit too. It's like, John, for the better part of his career, was getting a lot of grief for only having 5 moves, and now he's doing everybody else's stuff. Like, I feel like this is a little stab at the comment or the critics that are saying, he wasn't a very good wrestler. It's like, he was still the best at what he did.
Two things I want to add to that. You're right as far as the criticism that John Cena received. And my take on it was, we know in his earlier days, he tried a lot of different stuff, that he can wrestle. We just didn't see it because he got paid the big bucks to keep it 5 moves of doom, baby. You know, I don't have to go outside of this because
that's what Vince McMahon was paying him to do.
Exactly. So now that he can kind of open up his repertoire, his bag of tricks, and display a little more athleticism that he still has in the tank that he didn't get to show off in his younger days, I think it's a great look. It takes a smack at the critics. And the other thing is just how fun is it to see the crowd's reaction to John Cena doing a Undertaker tombstone, you know, an RKO.
It was a weak RKO, but
yeah, that was a weak
RKO.
That was the weakest.
That was more of a diamond cutter than an RKO.
Yes,
it's still to this day, it is still better than that trash.
But see, that bugs me.
That The Rock puts on people.
True.
And tries to like, come on.
Oh, I liked AJ's Sweet Chin Music.
That was sweet.
Oh, that was nice. That was beautiful.
My issue, though, as well, is that we're seeing all of these, and these are supposed to be an homage to him, to all of his rivals that he's not going to be able to wrestle, which means we're not going to get John Cena and Randy. We're most likely not going to get John Cena and Rusev because we saw the camel clutch as well. But you realize the ones that he's leaving off. We didn't see a rock bottom. We haven't seen an F5.
Yeah.
All of these guys are still on the table. And actually, real quick, before we move on.
I don't think we haven't seen a spear.
No, we have not seen a spear. And that was going to be my last topic for you, but because we're running out of time, I got to play some audio for you real quick, though. Hopefully you can hear it. And if our streaming audience can't hear this as well, it'll be up on the website on YouTube here very soon, I promise. But The Rock went on the Kelsey's podcast the other day and had his comments of who he believes he should be John's last match. Let's play this real quick.
Who should his final match be against?
Ooh, that's a good one. Just saying.
That says it all. That says it all.
Two of my favorites,
oh,
man.
That's you know, I have a tiny bit of influence in the booking of it, but it really is just it's whoever John wants. Really, that's what it comes down to. Whoever he wants, that should he. Right? It's not me or Nick Carr, Triple H. It's just it's whoever John wants.
So obviously, he wants it to be himself. Dang. I think a lot of people want it to be him. Here's my thing, though.
Could you hear that, first of all?
Yeah, he could hear it.
Yes,
he was
awesome.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to my Money Wise show later.
I know, really. It's like, yes, it worked.
Yes, it worked.
Sorry, to go back to what we were talking about here. I just referenced it earlier.
Right now.
No F5s, no rock bottoms, no spears, which means 3 of his top rivals are still on the table. The Rock, Brock, and Edge. Now, right now, a lot of people know Edge or Adam Copeland is part of AEW, but what people don't know is that there is an opportunity here that's very unique that could potentially see Edge and John Cena one last time, and that would be a trade in contracts between WWE and AEW, which has happened in the past, not between those two companies specifically, but if you remember, old school wrestling fans, Ric Flair. That's kind of how he ended up on the WWE, was an automatic trade. Do you think there is some validity to the potential of Tony Khan sending Adam Copeland over? And if so, who do you think the WWE is going to have to give up? Personally, I think it's going to have to be AJ Styles.
Okay.
I think AJ Styles would be huge in AEW for his last year.
Trade-wise, yes, on a short-term agreement basis with AJ Styles. Validity to the rumor, not a high percentage, but possibly because he is filming. He's actually filming Percy Jackson, one of the last installments of that franchise right now.
He plays Ares, doesn't he?
I believe so. He does have some time off. Now, whether that is, due to, okay, I only went this far with my contract and I re-signed after the movie, or if they're just giving me a break. And Tony Khan, Triple H, and Nick Khan would have to sit down with this. That's volatile, egos, energy. Everybody wants the pie. Nobody wants to share. Like I say, slim percentage, inkling of a possibility. I would love to see it happen. But if it's not going to be Edge, I could see it being The Rock. And
As much as I wouldn't want to see that, there are only 4 matches left for him. I think one of them has to be Dom for that IC title.
Definitely. And I can see them paying off the whole final boss, John selling his soul thing, and then they making that final.
And that's if they don't get him to stretch it to WrestleMania. However, with this coup that just happened yesterday, I think one name that needs to come back to the board is Bron Breakker. Because if we now have Bron Breakker as the leader of this vision, it would only make sense that the future of the company would want to silence the past of it. So I think now the potential of it being Bron Breakker as his last match at Saturday night's main event, I think just quadrupled.
So what do they do with Seth's title while he's out?
I would believe that if he's really injured,
you got to put it
or
up.
If it's like a quick rehab, he was able to take a spear. He was able to take a tsunami. So how about they just have him
on top of the belt too? Did you guys notice that?
Yes.
They dragged him with the belt underneath. That had to hurt.
Yes. So next week, we've seen this before when somebody's injured, they book a safe match. They build this thing up, and it's boom, a blow off real quick. Bron Breakker destroys Seth Rollins 1, 2, 3. We get that. Now the chase is in pursuit of Bron, the vision, and how he wants to run things. And we kind of just slide Seth over until he heals. They say it's an elbow injury. If it's a minor break, he'll be back by December. If it's a shoulder injury, he'll be out maybe up until WrestleMania.
Here's the thing, though, because depending on how serious the injury is, do you think they just slide the belt over to Bron? Because there is a possibility of that. You can change hands of a belt within your own faction.
So what happens with CM Punk?
Then that's the other thing too. Punk just won his first night or his
number one contendership
yesterday. So one of these guys have to go up against Punk.
And I think this is also a bigger setup to War Games that's coming up, because you're officially seeing now that Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins have been done wrong by Paul Heyman, Bron Breakker, and Bronson Reed. This could also lead to, and let's remember that his problem, Roman Reigns, his problem is with CM Punk, not necessarily Seth Rollins, who it's always kind of revolved around. They have come together at certain points to work situations out. Could we possibly see it? I don't think this means Seth Rollins is turning face or tweener. He's just going to be a likable heel that does crap stuff to people and is a POS. So, and it fits his character.
I'd love that.
I just realized something. Yeah. The Jey Uso LA Knight beef is just CM Punk and Roman light.
Yep.
I just realized something.
And now we're getting the Uso against Uso, like we've been talking about.
That's so disrespectful.
It is, but that's what it is.
It's so disrespectful.
It is, though, but that's what it is. Like, come on, even LA Knight and CM Punk yesterday in Raw going face to face. It's like, man, it's essentially the same guy. Both of you are fantastic on the microphone. It's just
not arguing with you.
This is, oh my God, it's so bad. But you know what? We have run out of time, my friend.
This ain't the childhood WWE anymore.
No,
this is TKO brand.
We just have to take what we can get and hope and pray it's going to be as good as the stuff we used to watch when we were children. Sir,
yes, indeed.
Thank you so much for your time as always. Once again, congratulations, best DJ in Bakersfield, hands down, and that is no competition. And we will talk to you next week, my friend.
All right, guys. Hey, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and stay notified. Early bird special coming in.